Dude.
There we go. Finally came up.
Freaking time. What's up, David?
Are we live?
Morning, AZ.
Yeah, it just took forever for the damn chat to pop up or for the live stream to come up on your page. Hey, did you see that short on YouTube of that dude calling out AOC when she started walking by him? It's
No.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
He calling her an idiot and everything. It was in the middle of New York City. He walks by her and he starts screaming at her. Yeah, watch.
She's not the brightest stick on the candle.
She wasn't ready for this.
Watch.
Oh, ABC. Oh, hey. You gonna condemn Hamas and the terrorist attacks here or what? You know the three branches of government yet? You are such a loser. You are so stupid. You are the worst. You are the absolute worst. Condemn the Hamas attacks. Go bring some more COVID back from Florida. It's executive, judicial, and legislative branches.
You're horrible.
Keep laughing. Keep laughing. You and Ilhan Omar, two peas in a pod. Two peas in a pod.
Close the border.
You're doing a great job.
Enjoy your Christmas shopping while we can.
She wasn't ready for this.
That's funny.
Good morning, Nanya and Mark White. Good morning.
What's up, Nanya? Mark, you gotta love freedom of speech. Another live today. I need to find out if Laura's going live today or not. Message her. I don't know if she does or not. I can't remember.
Ah. Yeah, the AOC, I don't know. You kind of wonder about what. I don't think how she can do what she does, but or think of what she does, man.
I've listened to so many speeches of her talking. She just
Yeah.
she sounds so uneducated when she talks.
Then she goes on TikTok and does these shorts and, yeah, just.
She's definitely out of touch with reality.
Yeah. Well, they're just trying to change the country to what they think in their world it should be like, right?
Well, that's why he was yelling, bring COVID back from Florida, because all of them were coming down here, hiding down here in Florida when they had all their states locked down.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So there was just like that CNN reporter, Don Lemon. He was down here with his partner, boyfriend, or somebody He was at the hotel on vacation down here while they were in lockdown
Yeah.
from where he came from, and people, the ladies were yelling at him, "Why don't you go back to your own state? Why are you down here enjoying our freedoms?"
Yeah. Yeah. None of us can go anywhere, but they can, right? Like
Right,
they all.
and they flee to the states that didn't do lockdowns.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that makes you look like such a dumbass. I'm sorry.
I gotta yell at my dog. Okay. I'm back. I just had to yell at my dog. Every time I get on here, just as soon as I get on, she wants to go and bug me for something. Oh,
These two dogs are getting on my nerves these days.
oh.
Oh, y'all ain't going outside just to bark at the other dogs. No, get away from them.
Hey, mine go to chase the squirrels. And then Paul feeds squirrels, so.
No, they just want to go out there because there's like 3 houses worth of dogs out there barking right now.
Mm.
Once that old lady next door moved out, we haven't had any problems.
Is that right?
She was the only one in the neighborhood that didn't have a dog. She complained about everybody's dogs.
Yeah.
Sorry
Let
about
me
that.
mo-
My neighbor was going to the store and I had him get me a couple of loaves of white bread.
But then she would come to the fence and talk to the dogs. But then she'd get pissed when they barked. She didn't make any sense. I think that woman had was going out of her mind or something.
Well, we had an old man sitting in their little backyard there. It's a funeral home, but they had flowers all the way around the place. And anyways, he'd be out there watering flowers. And one day I went out there, dogs going ballistic. What the hell's going on? I look out there and he's spraying my dogs with a fucking hose. And the funny thing is, he passed away. Haven't had a problem since,
I see old Vader's on the top of the steps.
Yeah, he's sitting there on the carpet section. Yeah.
I really think that lady moved out because of us. Because I went over there and told her to stay off our damn property. Because, like I said, she'd come to the fence. She would want to pet the dogs through the fence and talk to them, but then when they would start barking, she'd get pissed off. I'm like, well, why are you coming over and talking to the dogs, and then you're getting mad because they're barking?
Yeah.
The lady was out of her fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then she would get pissed about kids playing outside. She was like, I don't understand this. Why are they outside playing, being all loud? It's like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. What the hell are you talking about? Like, you got to be used to, I'm sorry, but you can't really be complaining about ambient noise during the daytime. I'm sorry. That's just that's just a fact of life when you live in a neighborhood. You're going to have people out there mowing their lawns. You're going to have dogs barking. People are going to drive by. I mean, kids are going to be outside running around. You're going to have all that noise during the daytime.
Yeah, well, we got 2 doors down, got a dog now here, but he's barking all the time, but you can't call the cops on it because he's a fucking police dog.
Nanya, that's true.
Yeah.
Mind is a place nobody even understands their own.
That's kind of funny. It's a police dog, and you think you would have the dog under control.
I would, and that's the funny thing about it. You think he'd be more disciplined, but
You think he would have a command for the dog to shut up?
Yeah.
Like when he wants the dog to be quiet.
It's,
Is the dog outside like in a pen or something?
yeah, got a high fence around it, everything else, right? So
Most of the canines around here, they get acclimated with the entire family that's living in the house.
yeah,
They don't want to
I
come
don't
in there.
get that. Why do you have a dog and you fence it in someplace like a cage,
well, it's got pretty well the whole backyard from what I can see or hear or
Yeah, but
whatever.
there's no interaction going on.
Yeah,
When I was a teenager, one of my friends dad was a sheriff's deputy and he had a canine. And I'll tell you what, that canine loved his kids and his wife, but
Yeah.
you don't fucking come in that house. Like if we went over to his house, they had to put the dog outside in the special pen while we were over. Because that dog didn't play. Like if it wasn't the two kids and the mom or the dad, that dog wasn't having you in that house. But you know, the kid, he never did anything to the kids or the mom because they got acclimated with him. And that's his family when he's home. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, you get the right dog, they're a lot of them are overprotected of the family, right?
I'd much rather a dog be overprotective than anybody could walk in and just pet the dog to a certain extent. Because
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I understand that could be a problem at some point with like first responders, different things like that. But at the same time, you don't want some random person coming in your house and your dog take off running in fear
Yeah.
or coming up to them wagging their tail at them.
Yeah.
They actually did that really cool. It was I can't remember what channel did it, but there was a news agency that did a test on people's dogs that thought their dog would do something if somebody broke in.
Yeah.
Every one of the dogs took off running with the tail between their legs. The person came through the door with a bite suit on and busted through the door and ran at the dogs, see what they would do. Yeah, none of the dogs did anything. They
Yeah.
all either took off running. Two of them, the lady pretended she was getting attacked by the guy when he came in, and her two dogs bolted out the front door and took off and left her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got another nasty day going here, Paul. Rainy, gloomy. The locks are going to close pretty soon, aren't they? 15th, I think.
15th they're closed, yeah. So everybody's going to be making a run up there and get there and back before they close.
I think a certain amount of ships have already laid up.
Yeah. Well, some have already laid up, yeah.
Man.
Oh my. Yeah. Just isn't good flying weather, although I went down and flew that ship last night in the dark.
Paul, if a morgue worker came in, technically, if a morgue worker died, technically they'd still have to come into work one more day, right? Here's your one for the day. I had a collie that ate a burglar and we found a blood in a finger. What the fuck?
Yeah, really. Huh?
That's like my mom's dog in California. Um, I was one of only like two people that could come in the house.
Yeah.
If you came in that house and he didn't know you, oh, dude, he was a big ass pit bull too, and he was mean as shit. But he would let me, obviously my mom and stepdad, but it was me, Sarah, and the two kids because we didn't have Aubrey then. We were the only ones that could come in that house, and that dog wouldn't do a damn thing to us. But if you walked in, anybody else walked in there, he'd just go nuts, trying to bite him through the door. He was just naturally mean from the time he was a baby because my mom and them treated him really nice. He just, if you tried to grab him though, and he would like be trying to bite you or like attacking the door, he would turn around and bite you. So you had to be careful of them. Did you end up catching that ship that it was on its last maiden voyage the other day, or last voyage or whatever?
No, I fell asleep.
Uh,
Which one's that, Paul?
It was an Algoma ship. It was downbound headed for the scrapyard,
Oh,
but it was under its own steam. So
yeah.
well, none yet. If the cops were smart enough to keep that fingerprint on record, they may find him eventually. He gets in trouble again.
I'm going to share the nighttime ship I did last night. It's already doing really well.
Hey, JD, good morning.
Can you see it?
Ken now.
Boy, it sure isn't as clear as it is online.
Yeah. I just cleared up a bit now, but a little jerky. But
Almost look like you're about to go right into it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dark down there.
It's had a little bit of a wind because you see the smoke going out to the left. Quite a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. It's a little bit of a headwind going this way.
What drone was this?
That's with the Autel Nano.
Yeah.
Why the fuck does the ladder go so far over top of it?
Well, what they do is they lower that down the side of the ship so they can go down to the dock.
Okay.
The dock, yeah, just a long ladder, that's all. Yeah.
I was wondering why it was sticking like 15 feet over the top.
Sometimes they'll see them folded on the front of the pilot house.
I've seen where they've had them on both sides of the ship, they're on an angle.
Yeah. You can see the flags going, the wind's coming up the river pretty good.
Yeah.
There's the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse.
It's flashing green light, not a white light. How come?
That's what they use.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, it was a revolving white light used to go around the whole neighborhood, you know?
Yeah.
But now that it's not really an active lighthouse, I mean, it still operates, but it's not run by the Coast Guard or Army Corps of Engineers. They sold it. It's a museum now.
Yeah, she'll get one more trip and that'll be it for her, I imagine, Paul Jagurtha.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't turn the sound on.
Oh, You know that song well, Paul.
Yeah. And it's because it's such a small drone, and I had gloves on. Get a little bit of herky jerky on the controls.
Cool. You know what time it is? Time to get another cup of coffee.
There you go. So has everybody pretty much got their fill of the holidays for a while, or because Easter's coming up? Is Easter March or April this year? I don't know. Justin, do
Easter's
you
in
know?
Easter should be in April.
Some years it's in March and some years it's in April.
Not
Take a
sure
look
then.
at the calendar. Or I could just ask it just as easy.
Diane said,
Ugh.
accidents all over this morning.
Sunday, March the 31st.
What? When it reopened?
No, that's Easter.
Oh, Easter. Another holiday?
Because we're
Yeah.
trying, I was asking about when Easter was. And Justin, back in my memory, it used to be always been April, but now it's in March the 31st.
Our next holiday is in February. It's called Family Day or something.
Family Day?
Here in Canada.
Wow.
Well, just that there was nothing between New Year's and May 24 weekend for any holiday. It was like 4 months or whatever, almost 5 months. So they created another holiday at the end of February, I think it is, called Family Day here.
So, what you're saying is Canada doesn't celebrate Easter at all?
Oh, they do, but I don't think they get a day off for it or whatever it's called.
Good Friday or any of that stuff? Or
Let me see. That's not showing the holidays. Okay. It's not showing the holidays. Well, much I had a free Diane saying there's accidents all over the place. It said salt trucks were out all over the place. All
yeah,
things.
iced up. Yep.
He said we had a freezing mist.
That doesn't slow down the idiots.
No, well, the road, I can still see the road. Then when they get snow on the roads, they say, "Oh, I can't see the road, so I got to go faster." Well, they said there's an organ donor run today from London to Pearson, starting at 10:45 today.
What do they do? Like have a convoy, police, or something? Or
Yeah. You would think
you'd think they'd airlift it, wouldn't you?
you think they would fly it
Yeah,
because it's going to Pearson, which is Pearson Airport, Toronto.
yeah.
Good.
You know,
Yeah.
like get Lifelight to copter it to the airport. You know.
Yeah, like they said, it's going from the University Hospital to Pearson. Hmm.
Huh. Well, to each their own. You know.
Yeah.
Probably to run the helicopters, well, it is. It's much more expensive than driving it if they.
Well, they're $1,000 an hour,
Yeah.
but I mean, how much does it cost to have people, police cars? You know, you got to pay the
Police
cost.
cars and the ambulance and the crew and
I said, why don't they fly it? It'd be quicker. She goes, that was my thought too. Even a smaller airplane, a little twin engine or something, you know, it don't cost that much an hour to run it.
right.
One person fly it to Pearson, you know, not rocket science.
Well, you have to have a helicopter. You can just take off and land. Most hospitals have heliports.
Well, yeah, especially the university hospital does have a helipad, so. You just sent me the attachment, I think, for it.
Did you see that YouTube? Um, um, it's on YouTube about the airplane girl and her crash.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it went into detail and talked about the FAA final assessment and everything, and it had clips. I don't know where they got the clips, but they got clips from inside the cockpit.
Wow, okay, I didn't think they released that yet.
Oh yeah, it was on. You can look it up online on YouTube.
Well, I've seen it advertised here. I didn't think they'd released it yet because they said in the plane crash she was filming when they crashed and all that.
And that's one of the things that he said. He doesn't think they should allow any recording devices like that in an aircraft. And I'm thinking, well, I think it's helpful so that investigators can go back and look at what was going on, you know.
Well, I mean, all the time they got, it's like 3 or 4 freaking cockpit cameras in the big jets.
Yeah.
That that you see it online all the time. I see it all the time online. I watch them. You know, even the big A380s guys got about 4 cameras going.
Well, and the person that died with her in the aircraft was not her father. It was an instructor.
Oh.
And it showed he was on there and he was talking to her and she was talking to him, and they were moving this control, moving that control. And she was dumber than a box of rocks. I don't know how the hell she got a license. Other than the fact, she was a good looker.
Yeah. Because I watched a Blink Hilario channel, and he was saying that he was trying to explain all the maneuvers and stuff they're doing, but they have a problem with some vintage autopilot on that thing. They figure screwed up or something. So I don't know. But yeah, Michael Lario channel, Juan Brown there, he's a big airplane pilot. Like he flies those big A350s and all that shit, and 777s and. Actually, he was just on yesterday talking about that fire in Japan. So the airplane crash. But I see the transcript wrote now that they're saying that pilot wasn't given permission to be on the runway, that Coast Guard one. He was supposed to be holding in C5, just short of the runway, but but the pilot still alive, but apparently according to He's, no, I had permission to be on the runway, so there's a miscommunication that caused that. They figure, but I still got investigations going on. But you know the funny thing is about it? They said, oh, Airbus is going to get involved and, they're helping analyze everything. And then go, what the hell for? If it was a communication problem, why are you, getting all these people involved? I mean, you have like here we got the Transport Safety Board or whatever they call it. They investigate it. Like get the thing, nothing left to it. They've got 10 million frickin' pictures of it. Get equipment in there and get the thing off the frickin' runway or whatever. I don't know if they have to repair the runway or not from all that heat, but see, the plane skidded off to the side, so when it really burned. But the other one, the Coast Guard one, it was right at that, on the runway at C5, so I don't know. It probably damaged the runway. They're probably going to have to tear it up or I can redo it or something. But I can't find any more live stuff on it. But you would think, even, they come out there and they look at, after the fire's out and everything else, and they have pictures before and after. But anyways, they might be investigating. No, I don't know how they would investigate it, but anyways, the engines were still running when it cracked. Like, like when people were evacuating, they said it should have been shut down. Like, I don't know, like, they had to talk to the pilots and everybody, but then they got to talk to everybody that's on board the aircraft. Like, really? Sitting in a seat, plane crashes, and you want to talk to me? What? I mean, I'm okay. Or I'm hurt or something, but Jesus. I don't know what there is to investigate somebody sitting on tail the airplane. I guess maybe help improve getting out of the airplane, but they got all those people out within 90 seconds, so, and only using 3 slides, so they did pretty good. Well, I gotta say, I was glad I wasn't on that plane. But like you said, don't take much to create a disaster. Holy shit. I have a few seconds on here. Everything gone to shit. Hey. You see, if that plane was on the runway and that guy's coming in to land, or at nighttime, he can't see that plane. Might be a little flashing light, but there's so many flashing lights on the airport on a runway and on the sides and down the middle. And, there's so many lights you couldn't distinguish it. They were showing, somebody landing at night and stuff, right?
Well, Alexis was talking about that girl the other night on Bill's channel because she's a pilot. And she said apparently the girl didn't understand the new autopilot feature that
Yeah.
they put on her plane.
Yeah. Yeah, Juan Brown was saying that there was some kind of a weird autopilot thing on there.
Yeah, that's what Alexis was saying. She said that she most likely did not understand what she was supposed to be doing with it. And probably set a wrong setting or something like that. So,
But you think they would have having that much trouble with it, just shut the freaking thing off? Oh.
you'd think.
Because she went up and down and back up and different things all through the freaking flight. So, if that was an instructor on board, the thing would have been right in front of him. So I don't know what the hell. We got an instructor.
There's 2 different opinions here. One says that the father was on board, but
Yeah.
all the video and stuff showed the instructor and they were talking to the tower and they had all the audio and the tower said contact whatever, and then they just disappeared, you know?
Well, I think there for a little bit there was no contact with them because they're down in between the mountains and stuff, right? So, radio waves are more line of sight more than anything. Like, when you're in the mountains, it's like a drone, you fly in behind a bunch of trees, you can lose signal. So, or a building or whatever, right? So, I know Blancalerio there, Juan Brown there, he gets the NTSB reports all the time, right? And I get stuff from Transport Canada here all the time about different problems with different planes.
Up, Lance.
Hey, Lance, good morning. Yeah, playing with my trades there last night for a while, and I was having problems with my turntables act up. Lately the thing's been jumping a bit. I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. I couldn't figure it out. So, anyways, I running there for a little bit, and it was I could sit there vibrate. What the hell is going on? Took it apart. A gear moved on a shaft.
So I just want to make sure that you're paying attention to that as well, because you're not going to see it, but you'll see your hand in there. So
Yeah.
let's just make some observations. And
put the damn thing. I've never used one like that. The last time I used one was back in
and
like
I'm just gonna talk about
2006 when I used to
things
keep
that we can talk
$50
about,
from you.
in the
Okay.
first one
Here.
at the end. So okay, so we're gonna roll.
And I got you 3 cents off a gallon.
All right.
He's putting the bread. I put 2 in the freezer out there. I'm gonna put 1 in the refrigerator.
Okay.
Navigation. It's supposed to pick up.
Oh, the course line you made? Yeah, I see.
I don't know if she's gonna do that or not.
So let's turn back to the right. Probably pretty harsh turn there. Let's turn back to the right here. Want to kind of get it where it can capture it.
Those are both the receipts. One from the pump,
I don't know if I have this set up
and now
right.
the Kroger receipt from what I spent to Kroger.
There it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they, like
Oh,
I
I
said, they
hit on the
two
wrong
loads of
setting.
bread out in the
That's why.
ADS, what's up, man?
Traffic 19710, 5 miles to the northeast of downtown Island at 3,500 feet. They'll be maneuvering 3,500 to the surface.
Is it taking you to the left?
That video looks like it was from before.
Which is not what we want.
Yeah, if you look at she's kind of clueless.
Was it taking you to the left?
That's a young guy, but I don't think that was the one that.
This isn't the actual crash footage, is it?
Here.
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
I mean, okay.
It didn't really help that much though.
Well, it looks like if we're looking here, well, yeah. What'd you say? I would say maybe we could keep pulling some more power.
Let's get into it. So, on December 7th, 2023 at 11:03 Central Standard Time, a Beech 35C33, it's a Debonair, November 5891 Juliet, was destroyed when it was involved in an accident near Pulaski, Tennessee. The private pilot and passengers sustained fatal injuries. The airplane was operated as a Title 14 code of the Federal Regulations Part 91 personal flight. The flight originated from Knoxville Downtown Island Airport, Knoxville, Tennessee, that was her home airport, at about 9:48 Central Standard Time, and was en route to Saline County Regional Airport, Benton, Arkansas. Preliminary Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast, or ADSB data, revealed that after takeoff from Knoxville Downtown Airport, the airplane climbed and turned to a ground track of 255 degrees, then leveled off for about 12 minutes at 2,500 feet, mean sea level, before climbing to 6,400 feet. The pilot was in contact with air traffic control and had requested flight following services. This, I think, put it over the top. As the flight was about 140 nautical miles into the trip, the controller advised the pilot that she was left of course. The pilot acknowledged and responded that she was correcting. At about 10:19, the airplane entered the first of a series of climbs and descents with corresponding fluctuations in its observed ground speed. During these oscillations, which varied in magnitude, the airplane's altitude varied between about 6,400 feet and about 5,300 feet. About 10:57, the airplane entered a descent that arrested about 4,300 feet at a ground speed of 143 knots, after which it climbed to 6,050 feet and slowed to 85 knots. The airplane then began to descend rapidly before ADS-B contact was lost in the vicinity of the accident site. During the last several seconds of the flight, the airplane was on a ground track of 262 degrees, descending at a ground speed that reached a maximum of 228 knots, and the estimated maximum descent rate was about 11,900 feet per minute. During these altitude fluctuations, the controller twice provided instructions to the pilot to contact the Memphis Air Route Traffic Control Center. However, neither of the instructions were acknowledged by the pilot. During the final moments of the flight, a faint communication from the pilot stating the airplane's registration and debonair, followed by an emergency declaration and an unintelligible word. About 60 seconds later, a faint and largely unintelligible transmission from the passenger was transmitted. The controller's subsequent attempts to contact the pilot were unanswered, and there were no further communications from either the pilot or passenger. The airplane impacted hilly wooded terrain at an elevation of 971 feet with the wreckage path oriented.
Wasn't she some kind of famous YouTuber or something?
Yeah.
Degrees magnetic. The wreckage was highly fragmented, and the debris field extended in a fan-like pattern about 300 feet long. The tops of several trees leading to the main wreckage were cut off at a progressively lower height, leading up to the main impact with the ground.
Quite a long video.
During the accident sequence, the fuel tanks were breached,
get to the end,
and a post-impact fire spread in the vicinity of the wreckage to the surrounding trees and undergrowth. A witness in the vicinity of the accident site stated that the airplane flew overhead at a high rate of speed and described the engine was running when it impacted the ground. All major components of the airplane were located at the accident site. The engine was partially buried in a crater that was 5 feet deep by 8 feet wide. The engine was severely damaged by impact forces, and crankshaft continuity and cylinder compression could not be confirmed due to the internal impact damage. The magneto key was broken off in the switch and set at both. Both magnetos separated from the engine during the accident sequence were damaged by impact forces and could not be functionally tested. The spark plugs were impact damaged but showed minimal wear when compared to the Champion Check A plug chart and did not display any evidence of surfaces were significantly damaged or destroyed by impact forces and the post-impact fire. Trim tab deflection and the nose down recording devices were retained for further examination. Lead to an accident. What we have here is for over a year, she was flying with her glass, so to speak, like right at the brim. When you are talking about checks, a check would be like absolutely confused by it. There's so many countless things. She's out of it. She's and I'm going to show you this in a second. She's just it's so far beyond her. This is so unfair. She is in contact with ATC. I could go. Let's bring this over and I'll show you.
Joe.
Look at all these flights.
Hey, David. We'll see you later, man. David usually doesn't say bye. He just takes off.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, TJ. Hey, Paul.
Some famous YouTuber crashed her plane a few days back or a week ago, whatever it was.
Yeah, a week or 2
I didn't
weeks.
I didn't even hear about it till somebody said it on the live stream the other day. I didn't even know who she was.
I put the link in the chat if anybody wants to watch it. It's interesting because they show video of her with her instructor.
But that was a previous video.
One of the things the FAA said, Paul, in it was that the instructor was negligent.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They said it was her dad, but they were talking in there in all that there. They never said anything about an instructor. They just said a passenger.
Yep.
No, that video is from before a training session before.
And we had a news reporter a few years back here. I knew her well. She one of them that was always at Gallia Hall Mardi Gras Day. And she went up with a pilot out of the local Lakefront Airport. They were doing a story on him. And he left the airport. It's a little small airport right on the lake. Left the airport, did a cruise around the city once, came back and did a nosedive into a parking lot.
Oh.
And when they went back, they were trying to figure out, they showed the trajectory of the plane and everything. And he didn't call in any problems with the plane. And when they did the research and did everything they found was perfect. But because of the way he did the dive. So it looks like it was like a suicide type thing. And he did it with a major reporter, news reporter here in New Orleans. And she was, she was up near like a Hoda Kotb on NBC. Because she worked with Hoda, actually. But that's crazy stuff.
But the problem is, you go to YouTube, they got everybody, their mother that flies an airplane doing an analyst on it.
Well, you better do it. You got to have a checklist when you're in a plane. You got to make sure everything's working right.
No, Galena.
Oh, Justin.
Oh, by the way, hi, Laura. I see Laura was in there too. So, yep.
Yep. Laura.
What?
Say hello to my little friend.
What do you got there?
That's another piece of filament that broke off in the printer.
Oh.
Say hello to my not little friend.
So Paul has been watching this very diligently. You know, he was halfway considering maybe in the future a printer. What's your opinion now, Paul?
Thank you, Joe, for saving me money.
All I know is that it would make for good target practice.
Yeah.
I was printing something last night for Gitchy. And I looked over and noticed it was just printing air. And when it started printing air, I stopped it and I said, retracted it and got it out to double check it. And I got one of those needles out, put the needle in there and it hit and it wasn't moving.
Mm.
So I kind of said, well, let me try it from the other way, try to see if I could push it up a little bit and wouldn't move. So I said, well, here goes this print. It was a little stupid. Little small print, it wasn't nothing big. But I looked at it and I went, well, I'm gonna have to take the front off. So I took the front off and I tell you what, I took it off, put it back together within about 20 minutes. But this one was jammed in there really good. I mean, I could barely see it because it's silver and the thing's silver, I could barely see it. I got an X-Acto knife and reached down and I could feel it. I fooled around with it a little bit. So I had to take another piece off. So I had it in another part taken off so that I could get through the other side and I was able to push it straight up. So when I pushed it straight up, I still had a piece broken off in there. And that sucker would not move for nothing. I couldn't move it. And I said, well, let's try something. Put it all back together, turn the heat up to 250, and it worked because it melted it. It was able to melt it. It was where it could be melted. This piece was not. You see, that's my big complaint right now. It's a cooling area right above it. It's aluminum with the little fins and everything.
Yeah.
And that's where they break it off. That's where it breaks off. If it breaks off in that area, it can't heat up to melt. So that area needs to be warm enough for it to go through. But I figured out what the reason was. I looked at the app. When it started blowing air, and it was saying 190 degrees. And I was saying, well, why is it at 190? It was sitting at 220. So what had happened was, because it's set to print for 220, but the program I put in there, the guy that wrote it put 190 in his code. That's for his machine. So it wasn't warm enough in my machine to keep it melted. So the piece broke off. So that tells me I need to go in there and double check the settings on that every time and stick it back at 220. But it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. You could own a model railroad, so.
I do. I do. So
yeah.
When you walk around here, it's one big rabbit hole.
Mm. Yeah, I got. It's a Via passenger set, and I was having a lot of problems. They were derailing. The cars are too light and stuff, and wheel sets weren't quite right. So, anyways, I've been changing them and putting weights in them and everything else. So last night I was running for a little bit, and the one baggage car, the one right behind the locomotives, kept derailing. I went, what the hell? I put it on there even with hand derailed. So anyway, took it out, got my gauge out, and freaking wheels were out of gauge. You know.
Hey, Justin, Laura wants you to check your messages.
Yeah. But anyways, the wheels were out of gauge. So anyways, I put a different wheel set in. Everything works fine now. But it's just some stupid little thing. Like it was out by probably a 32nd of an inch, you know, just so slightly, but it was enough to derail every freaking time. So anyways, now I've got a sound module. I'm thinking about taking the engine apart and putting a sound module in it. So
when I took, it was about maybe 8-9 years ago, I tell you, my train thing is boxed in a wooden board. It's a wooden board that is boxed in a wooden crate.
Yeah.
That you just unscrew it outside, take it off, take it right out. And everything's mounted on everything's, but I put it back when I'm storing it. I put it back in a wooden crate. Got handles on the side to carry it. Weighs about 50 pounds. You know, it's like, I actually weighs more than 50 pounds, about 80. And because engaged, that's the good news, is engaged, so it's not as heavy.
Yeah.
But I had it set up and I had put it on top of because it's got the board, then it's got a lip around it so you can't see where the wires are. I put like a little 1x2 or something like that on there. And we had it laying across the dining room table. And my son, this is the Marine Corps son, I'm glad he got a sensible automobile because he had to run these trains as fast as they could around everything.
Oh yeah, race car.
And he was doing good. They didn't come off the track as much, but they did. You know, and he said they keep falling off the track. I said, well, you got to use some super glue. And I turned around. He went and got some super glue. I said, stop. You know, stop. You know, he was going to super glue the wheel in.
Good morning, Jonathan Jackson.
You have to understand the new model railroads all got computer chips in them, all the models, like the actual engines. Mine are all set, so you can get 80 mile an hour in them. I got them down to about 40 mile an hour, so you can't race them around the, you know, give them a control. You can't race it, right?
Can you set speed limits on the track in different places?
Oh yeah, I got different places where it's really slow coming out of a yard. Then it gets onto the main line and it comes up and it starts building up speed. You can hear the engines kicking in a little bit higher. And then you got one area that's almost like not a high speed, but it's faster. But then when it comes in to come into the yard, it slows right down and then goes into the yard and parks.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing about computer controlled and all that. I can set all the perimeter, the speed limits. I can set everything. where I can set where the train stops on the tracks. Like there's what's called a ramp and a brake area, and then where it stops. So where it slows down and then just creeps up and then comes to a complete stop. I can dictate where that thing stops on the whole layout. See, once you run around a few times, see each track, I should say each section of track is a block, and the computer picks up how long that block is.
Oh.
So it knows, when it's in that block, what it has to do in that block.
Well, that's quite a program, isn't it?
Oh, well, it was $1,000 Canadian to buy the program, $700 US for the program, $690, yeah, just for the program.
East Coast Thrills, good morning.
It's funny. My son leaves this morning and go back, and he might have needed a ride because it's raining, and his wife has got a cold, and she wasn't feeling good. She was really feeling bad yesterday, and he texted me and he said he's fine. They're gonna be all right, like this. So I just checked to find my iPhone, and he's actually passing me right now, going to the airport.
Wow.
I said I'm waving at you as you're going by.
Yeah, East Coast Thrills says, good morning. And he says, lurking, listening at work, didn't realize model trains were so intricate.
Oh, it's just, you can do stuff with a model railroad now that you can't even do on an actual real railroad. Some of the stuff they do.
And then he says, are we talking about Lionel trains?
No, HO scale.
HO scale trains.
Yeah, if you look here, see, I got 3 screens. This one's all the engine control, turntable. This here is one part of the layout, and the other is the dispatcher's panel here. But that's all, yeah, I got 3 panels just for the railroad.
That's nice. Now it's getting too technical.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's kind of like, what Paul's doing is kind of like what you're doing with the printer.
Yeah. I can show you how many electronic boards I have.
Oh, that's the thing. It's another rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Big rabbit hole.
Keep adding.
Yep.
That's what the Engage has the same thing. If you set it up and you want to spend the money and you want to spend the time, you could put the sounds on it and everything else.
Oh, I've got it so when a train approaches a certain area, the lights and the bells starts working, and when the train goes by, it shuts off. And yeah, you can tell it when to come on, when to shut off. The thing will automatically throw the switch for that route or whatever the train's taking. Oh, it just goes on and on and on.
Check out this cool little overlay I found for Streamlabs. You see up there in the corner where the controller's at?
Yeah.
See, watch. So whatever buttons I'm pushing, it shows you what I'm doing.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So when I'm live, you'll be able to see actually what I'm doing on the controller.
Oh, and it actually goes up the antennas too.
No, that's the back buttons, the trigger buttons. It's
Oh,
just
that's the back buttons. I thought it was antennas.
No, it just said they're on the bottom. That's all. It's showing them there.
So hold on a sec. Yeah. Fill this real quick. So, like you see on the back here, Paul?
Yeah.
You got 2 sets of buttons. You got these ones, and then the ones that look like antennas were actually those.
Okay.
Because there's 2 sets of back here.
They're showing on television right now where a person found a wallet that somebody lost back in the 50s, and they traced it down. They called the numbers inside and checked everything inside, and they traced it down and found the guy that lost it. Put all the pictures in it and everything else.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So you guys are talking about it. I'm looking for a good train set to put underneath the Christmas tree.
Justin, you saw my not so little friend.
Well, yeah, East Coast
broke off in it last night.
money you want to spend, but like you can just buy a regular train set. It's got a circle or an oval or whatever, no switches, no nothing. You know.
But are they all plastic?
Well, see, the problem is there are some cheaper ones out there, but everything now is museum quality stuff. Like, it's got all the right correct number of rivets on it, or like whatever. Like the detail is just unbelievable. Even you take train cars now, turn them upside down, the piping underneath is accurate. It's all museum quality stuff comes out now. But some of that stuff doesn't really thrill me that much, because you got to pay $50 or $60 now just for a frickin' boxcar, where I used to pay $10 for them. Like, but the thing is, and some guys do take the older boxcars, but you can keep adding to it. Put metal handrails on it, or even put the piping underneath to make them look good. Oh yeah, what's that? A boar?
It's a face.
That's a lion, actually.
Oh, lion. Oh, okay. What I can see,
that's what I was putting last night when it decided to, with the silver, it decided not to work.
Did you see what Jonathan Jackson said in the chat there, Joe?
Forget about it.
I'm sure he could. I'm sure East Coast could probably find a nice little set for $60-100.
Yeah,
You just want something to use under the tree.
And this time of year, you should maybe find some sales, shouldn't he?
Well, if it's a regular train set, probably not. If it's Christmas looking, then maybe.
But see, there's two types of model railroads out there. DC, which is direct current, you have a transformer. The faster you turn it, the farther you turn it, the faster the train goes. But everything now is all DCC, which is digital command control. Each locomotive has a little computer chip in it. And it's AC power instead of DC, but that computer chip transfers it from AC back over to DC to power the motor. But there's a lot of stuff involved. But you can buy a cheap DCC, but it'll cost you a couple $100.
But in that particular use, to put around the base of the Christmas tree, he could buy a really nice one and just have it for years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for something just around the Christmas tree, you don't need much. Just a regular DC one will work good. Because you could probably just go on, like a marketplace or whatever. Somebody's got one to sell, especially after Christmas and didn't want it or something,
You just get a little pre-built set that's already got everything in the box ready to go.
Yeah, just everything's in the box. Track, the transformer, the engine, the box cars, everything. But I've got a couple of cabooses on my layout. They're $150 just for the caboose, but they're all lit. Everything else, detail, just unbelievable, right? So. There's another caboose I want. That's thinking about looking at maybe buying one, but actually one of the good places to go to for model railroad is look for a model railroad sale and show in your area, especially this time of year. A lot of people are, there's a sale coming up over in Woodstock on the 13th. I'm going to it. It's just like a freaking fairgrounds, and the auditorium there just packed in there, and people lined up outside to get into them. But anyway, no, you go to those, they're pretty cool, and you get to see and talk to people, but they got everything there for you to use. Like you might have some old guy that's got a model railroad that he can't stay home anymore. He's got to go to an apartment or into a home. He's got a big model railroad. You can buy them things for next to nothing, because they're just trying to get rid of it all, right? Well, but if the ones that I go to the show, they're usually about half new, half used, and you can pick up buildings pretty cheap and stuff, and they're already built. Don't even have to do anything to them. Maybe add a few details if you want, or something, or change the name, or.
The one set that I sold a few years ago, this is after I blew my knee out, and I wasn't struggling for money, but the money was there. I needed to get some. And I went through that's when I pulled the trains out. I had the Crescent City Limited. That was a passenger set with the steam locomotive. And it was God darn it was Concord.
Yeah.
River Rossi was a set.
Yeah.
And it was a special set. And I stuck it out on eBay and sold it for like $500.
Yeah.
And I think when we bought it, it only cost like 120.
Yeah.
But I got like 500 for it, and I'm still kicking myself because I really did like that one.
Yeah. Right now, you get a passenger, like you go to Rapido, get a passenger with a few boxcars, freaking $1,200, you know. But the quality is different. It's digital. It got all the sounds and the whistles and the bells and everything else to go with it. They're all set up. There's people inside the car. You know, you just basically take it out of the box and put it on the layout, program it, where you go, right?
Yeah. This one was the dark green, just like the Crescent City Limited, that still runs every once in a while.
Yeah.
But the only reason I felt bad about selling it, and I sold it and sent it, and boy, I felt really bad after I sent it a couple of days. But I still have another locomotive like that in the cars for Pennsylvania, for the Pennsylvania passenger train set up like that. It was basically the same.
My biggest problem is my layout's not big enough because I can't.
That's how mine is.
I can't run real big trains. You know, most I can run maybe an engine and about 10 cars because they go into a siding or whatever, right? I can't. There's guys that run 30, 40 car trains, you know, in some of these layouts, but I can't do that because I don't have enough room. I know it's
the
room
most
10 by 12 or something, but
start punching holes in the wall, make tunnels.
Go to different rooms.
Going through the wall, through the bathroom, into the back bedroom, putting in a helix there, and then have it come back out again, going the other way. So thought about doing that, but I don't know. Well, it depends. If I stay single, maybe I might take my living room, dining room downstairs because they're two great big rooms. Make a big layout, but I don't know.
What's up, Mike?
So the question is, stay single or build up my train set. Yeah, train set sounds good.
Yeah. Problem is, I had to start all over again.
Yeah, I had a cousin that had a train set up, and what he did was punch a hole like you were joking around with that, I know. But what the hell is this? But he punched a hole. He actually cut it out and everything where his closet was, and went in the closet and built like a train yard in the closet. And it was all set up to where he could go in the closet and bring his train straight out from in there. And he made it look like a tunnel. It was pretty cool.
Well, I thought about, right, running down, go through my bathroom into the next bedroom back there and put a helix in there. But can you imagine sitting there having a crap and a train coming through? Yeah.
That's what, what's his name had? Remember, freaking Ron from Canada? He had a freaking hole right through one of his damn stairwells in his house, his stairwell.
Yeah.
It went into the stairwell on one of the steps.
Well,
it disappeared into the wall and then came out in another room.
I had a friend of mine there. His went through a wall into his furnace room, around the furnace, and then back out again. It's just, holy crap. I work on that. There was no room. Well, there's much room on each side of the furnace, and trying to get in there, lay track, and put wood in there. Can you imagine if they had to come down and service the furnace? Oh, can you move your tracks?
Well, think of an old Southern, like Adams Family type of house. This is the kind of house this is. It's still on Magnolia Street. They haven't tore it down yet. It's still on Magnolia Street in Beaumont, Texas. Yeah. And he had an upstairs room where one of these, it was a bedroom, like almost like a regular master bedroom. And it was 2/3 of this room was nothing but a train. And then it went into the closet. And he had I remember this as a kid. He might have had 40 tracks going different ways. And all of this was going into the closet, at a couple of places to like his train yard. And he had all the the telephone poles with the wires and everything with the string. He had all of this stuff set up. And one night they heard all this commotion going on upstairs. And and this is funny. This is funny. And there's a stairwell that went up one side, and the stairwell went up the other side. And the wife went up one way, the husband went up the other way, and they saw each other, took a shot at each other, thinking it was somebody in the house.
Yeah.
And then they get up there and come to find out the commotion was the train room. The cat got in there and was tangled all in all the wires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hi, everybody.
When I had my cat the odd time, I'd come in and put the three cars all laying on the side. Walking through.
This is made by Lionel.
Yeah.
If I had to do it all over again and I had the room, I'd do Lionel. Go big.
The nice thing about, like, you know, like what you got, the N scale, you know, if I had N scale in that room, of course, I have more than enough room for everything, but see, I do.
How big is an N scale train?
Oh, they're about 4 inches long.
Oh, so it's like a Twix bar size, right?
Yeah, they're really small.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of, a Twix bar.
Yeah, I don't have one close by in the closet in the back.
Yeah, I think I got. Okay.
N scale. Yeah, I put leadership. You seen Big Bang Theory where he takes an N scale train and sticks it in his mouth engine.
Well,
oh, Joe, look at that short in the jet.
Your car. So there's my hand. Huh? Yeah,
Okay.
they're real. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could put a lot if you had in that size.
Yeah, my set is 3 foot by 5 foot. Like I said, and I've got like 4 main tracks on it and everything else.
But it's what, all put up now, or what?
It's like I said, I got a wooden crate. I built it here, and then we went to Hawaii. So we had they came in and looked at it, the movers, and they said, well, we don't know how we're going to move that because it was so intricate, right? And I said, I got you. Don't worry about it. You're going to be moving a crate. So I went and bought the stuff and built a crate the way it fit right into the crate. And then I've got it to where I've got the top port that goes on it, a piece of plywood that goes on it is screwed down, but then I've got 2 pieces of block that fit down and push barely on the board in a couple of places so that thing can't move. But I think it weighs about 80 pounds.
Yeah.
It's just sitting in your apartment right now?
It's in my closet next to me, standing up on the end. I'll crate it up. It's 3 foot by, might be 3 foot by 4 foot or 2 foot by 4 foot. I can't remember the exact measurement. But N-Gage, like I said, when you in the front area, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 main tracks, and then they branch off in different areas. And then I've got a little town in the middle with all the water and all of that, and it goes around the town, all the houses, all the buildings. And then on one end of it, I made a paper mache tunnel and did all of that. So it's got one whole side that's a tunnel on one track that goes through.
That's where your 3D printer would come in handy, huh? So you could print yourself a tunnel out.
Yeah, what I was showing you with that little friend that's not so much my little friend. That right here. That's what broke off in the printer last night. And I figured out why I did it. And I knew it was doing it because I heard a little difference in sound. And I looked over and it wasn't printing. It was up above it printing air again. So that's telling me there's a jam. Because it's stopping what it's doing. So I paused the print. I paused it. And what it had when I looked down at it, my temperature was 190. And I went back and looked at this guy's the code this guy put in, and he had it set for 190. I needed at least 220 to keep these things melted.
Mm.
So what happened is it cooled down enough that it caught a crimp and broke off.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure before I print anything, I'm gonna press the button and make sure I'm at 220.
I've got
as long as I'm printing at 220, I'm good.
Yeah, I got a couple of different locomotives. Got one that looks like this, and it's actually 1906. This one here, it's a GMD1. But if you go down here and look, here's the price, Canadian, $379. Just for one locomotive.
One locomotive, and that doesn't include the setup.
No, that's just the locomotive. But the museum quality stuff, though, like, you know, the detail is just unbelievable. And of course, they're all made in China. But there's a guy in Toronto that opened a manufacturing plant in China to make them. So he flies back and forth all the time to China, and you know, to see how they're coming along with new models and different things. Yeah, it just, but that's what you're looking at right now, almost $400 now for a locomotive. That's $379. That doesn't include tax, so you got to add another 13% on top of that. So you're into $420 just for that locomotive, one engine. It just, yeah.
Well, it doesn't make any difference what your hobby is. It can get expensive.
Oh, yeah. You got a boat. They said a boat is a hole in the water. Which one pours money, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just.
To each their own.
Yeah. Everybody's got their own little thing. But this, what I've got, I've accumulated over for years. You know, it wasn't I went out and all bought it this year. I mean, and I had stuff given to me. So, like, you know, I just, yeah.
What are you doing, Lance?
Yeah. Here's a successful print.
I just purchased it's a probe, so it's a lens, and I'm gonna run it through this. You guys see this book here? I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so I'm just
I can see what he's doing.
The probe through the book, and it's gonna show the words. I'm gonna light it up with this because you need a lot of light to actually illuminate the inside of that. So I'm gonna put that light at the end here, and I'm going to run my slider through, and I'm going to record, and it's going to kind of show the words as it goes through the book. Just something fun to play with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you got too much time on your hands.
That is a weird, I've never seen a lens that looks like that.
Oh, yeah, these are.
That looks good.
Google probe lens.
They can put a little diamond in it.
You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but I'd like to see what you're doing when you're all done with it.
Yeah, so I'm going to.
Like I said, I've never seen a weird lens. That's so weird looking.
So I'm going to run this.
Looks like you got a selfie stick shoved in the front of your camera.
I'm going to run it on run the slider. There we go. And it's going to go through the book. And it's going to light that up.
Oh, interesting.
And I go, okay, I want to connect. So yeah, just some fun stuff. Start. And I can loop it. I can make it go one way. I can speed it up. And that's the actual slider. It's going slow right now. And I can speed that up. Stop. We're going to stop it. I'm going to ramp it up to slow the seconds down. So it's going to go in 8 seconds. So it's going to move rather quick this time. So you can kind of see going back and forth. So I can set the speed of the actual slider to go through the book. And again, it's creating some.
What is something like that even used for on a normal basis?
So, so it would be for product shots. For like, say you wanted to go through, you know, you have your hamburger and hot dog set up, right? And you've got your hamburger and French fries and Coca-Cola, you know, and you set those really close together, and you send this by it, and it's going to focus as it goes.
Okay, so
or like this here, this is a photography book. I could be advertising this photography book, and I go through, and you'll see the words of the book as it goes through.
I've never seen anything like that. That's weird.
Yeah, kind of fun. Okay, ISO.
Well, it definitely is a specialty piece.
It is. It is.
Yeah, even out of all the photographers I met on YouTube, I've never seen that before.
Well, there you go, Justin. Now you.
Well, maybe at some point in time, Lance, you could adapt that to colonoscopies.
Let me borrow it. It's got that.
Little Richard. Little Richard.
Okay, record this.
I could just see in a hospital saying, "Now you hold still now."
It's gonna read you when it goes inside.
No, too much for me.
Start. We're gonna go through.
You're doing a colonoscopy.
Joe said too much for me. I'll only take the tip. Okay, I gotta watch myself because he is in a school. So
Clip that. That's clip.
Well, yeah, Mudball. Don says if you were to put that across like a pizza, would look like landscape at the top of the pizza.
now, if anybody would have one of those, I'm sure Don probably does.
Don would, yes,
because he's done a lot of commercials and stuff over the years, so he might actually have one of those.
Manual.
I just don't know if he does. He's never shown it, at least not to me. But I would assume you would have one of those though, if that's the kind of shooting you do with it, especially doing commercials.
You could get a piece of PVC pipe, a piece of black PVC, and put it on the end of your lens and get almost the same effect.
Well, have you done? I'm assuming you've done it before.
When I was first starting out, well, you played with all kind of stuff.
How much does one of those things cost?
That's probably depends on where you get it. If that's a real one, it could cost money. If it's one of them that you get, because you could buy stuff like that that people just kind of make up and they're cheap, but it's like.
Well, I'm saying, like, what would a legit one cost you from like Nikon or Sony or something? How much?
You have to ask Lance.
14, huh?
Yeah.
Oh wow, 1,400.
Yeah, for a real one, it's gonna be money.
Okay, so Don doesn't have one now, but he used to have one.
He might have had one.
He said the company I worked for had one. About $1,200, he said.
Yep, that's about right.
So it just causes the lens to focus pretty much, like almost like a direct line of sight down the tube.
Yeah, I'll give you an example here in a second. I'll put it up. Show you what it looks like.
Yeah, it's gonna be a unique picture. If you did it like say you did it on like Paul's train board, it would look like you on the landscape. It'd give you a whole new perspective.
Different perspective, yeah.
Yeah, I am interested to see what they look like.
They increase the light here. We've got more light coming through. Okay, that'll be better. Start it. Here, on. Record. Start the slider. Is it on loop? It is.
Oh, Donald said that brand that he was that Iowa, Laowa. Oh, fuck!
Yeah.
He's gonna roast me for not pronouncing that right. He said it's waterproof.
Stop. A bit slower. A little fast. Start. And slow it down a little bit. Cool. Having to shoot at ISO 800, which isn't the best. 30th of a second shutter speed.
So you just be chilling between classes, Lance, just
it's
figuring out new
only
shots.
Here, so kids aren't even here yet.
That's
But
what I'm
yeah,
saying. So
I
you're sitting there just figuring out different ways you can use it.
Yeah, so I'm constantly updating my curriculum and getting kids. We need to keep them interested, right? I mean, we can't keep them
Right.
things. So I do a video class, and they'll use this and play with.
Oh yeah, it's early there, ain't it?
Yeah, it's not even 7 o'clock, I don't think. Actually, it's 7:22, isn't it? 7:22. And it's a late start today. We have late starts on Wednesdays, so the kids don't come until 8:30, and I have planned the first hour, so I don't really start until 9:30. So I constantly tweaking things. You guys want to see what I just did or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what it looked like.
Okay.
Because I kind of have an idea of what you were talking about, but once I see it, I'll definitely know.
I'll share this. Let me load it here. Get it ready before I take over that. Come on.
Thing does look pretty kinky going in and out of that book, though.
And I've got a red tint, which is kind of cool. I like it, but I
Here
can
comes
change
Donald.
the tints. So here we go. I'll share my screen.
Hey, Don.
Oh, we're talking.
No.
You guys are talking Donald's
Heck yeah.
field of expertise.
Okay, so I wanted to get the words, and that was my whole gist of trying this, just to see what it would look like going into a book. And ISO, so it's a photography book if you read some of the words. But here we go.
Huh.
Now, Lance, that's the Leoa.
I don't know if it's the actual Leola. Let me see here. Yes,
Mine
it is.
had the LEDs on the front of the lens. Does yours?
Yeah, and this one, I thought I ordered that one, Don. I thought I ordered that one, and I just got it, so I don't know if it's in here or not. And I literally just opened
Oh,
it.
that looks like exactly the case. No, the light should be. Look on top of your lens. Does it have a USB?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, then your light is already on the tip of your lens. It's a little ring light on the very tip of your lens.
Yeah.
And you
that's what
power
I thought
on,
they
and it'll
So
light
I
up
don't-
those. You don't have to backlight those words or anything like that. You just go ahead and light it from the lens itself.
Yeah, and that's when I looked at reviews, that's what I wanted. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this. Hold on.
Yeah, that is one of the lenses that I regret not getting.
Yeah.
But
Didn't fit
I
in.
got a $3,000 lens. I figured I'd rather take it than the $1,200 to $1,300 lens.
Yeah. Oh, you bet. You bet.
And he's gonna leave the slider going.
No, he left his job with it in his pants. They're like, are you just happy to see us, or you still on the lens?
Yeah, that is for doing food shots.
Oh yeah, it does
Yep.
have like a ring light looking thing on it.
Yeah, for doing food shots, that makes it
Right.
just look gigantic because it's a 24 millimeter equivalent lens at that small
Yeah.
size. So it's a super wide angle lens. So it just feels like the world is huge. So I've used it for taco. I shot a pair of tacos, get it down low, and just do a pullback across the taco, and they're just these giant buildings that are tacos. I wish I still had some of the footage.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some cool things you can do with it.
So how does that thing power on? Is there like a built-in battery that powers the ring light, or
Nope, there's a USB on the top of it that you'll plug into.
so it has to be plugged into the camera for power?
Plug into secondary power, yeah. I used to always carry a little
Like a little power bank?
USB power bank. I have a couple little ones that are just
You can't plug it
size
into
of a
the
cigarette lighter.
You can't plug it into the camera for power?
No.
No, it's USB.
No, you're coming in the power out. If I used it on the Canon C300, I could have gotten a V-mount battery that had the USB auxiliary on it, but I always just use it on the Canon 5D or the Sony A7. But yeah, this is my kind of thing right here.
It's my kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would think they would put a little tiny battery, just build it in there, so you wouldn't have to have a tether attached to it.
Shut up, Jonathan.
Huh.
What do you say?
He's accused me of not buying my wife anything for Christmas.
Oh,
I
no,
bought
he's
her
been-
something for Christmas.
He's been all over you for like the last couple
Yeah.
years. What's up, Getchy?
Turn the light on. You think?
Hey,
He was-
Gitchy.
He was actively hunting you on YouTube one day. He was hopping from live stream to live stream looking for you.
Like I don't have a life outside of YouTube?
I don't know, dude. He was looking for you though. And then he came on my panel and was like, "Where's that Don at?" I was like, "I don't know."
I don't know. Jonathan, I think you might be obsessed.
Oh, you got yourself an internet stalker as well?
Oh, do you have an internet stalker?
Yes, it's Max. It's a middle-aged bald man.
Mm.
I was hoping for a 22-year-old woman, but no, that didn't happen.
No, Max is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how to turn the light on. I need to.
Oh, you got stuck with a bald one too, Donald.
Is there a? I'm trying to remember. I think there's a switch on the base of the lens.
Toward next to the camera. And you're thinking, was it right in the?
Oh no, no, it's on the it's
Oh,
on
there
the
it goes.
cord. That's right, it's on the
And you
cord.
put the computer on. Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, boom, there's that light. The one problem I always had with that is focus is very, very tricky. You got a very shallow depth of field on that.
Exactly.
Well-
I've got infinity to looks like one. What?
To me, it just doesn't make sense, a lens that expensive, why they couldn't put a battery in it so you wouldn't have to have a cord hanging off of it. It seems like that'd be kind of a pain in the ass, wouldn't it?
Well, the cord is minimal. You got to have a tripod. You got to have a place to slide. And I mean,
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, that just seems kind of
For that
redundant by today's standards.
for that kind of setup, yeah.
Just because it's so expensive, if it was like $30, I would say, okay, whatever.
That's not expensive. $1,300 for a lens is cheap.
Great.
That's cheap.
For that particular hobby or profession, yes,
Hey,
but
Ray.
to the average person, it's still a lot
Yeah,
of
for
money.
that, but that lens is not for the average person, Justin.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
a specialty lens. You're going to use it. I used mine. Well, I used theirs. I would say maybe 20 times total. Over hundreds of shoots. I mean,
That's like my 50mm lens. I might have used it 4 times over the last 5 years.
some people use things. It's kind of like having a drone. It's not for every single shot. It's not for every single commercial. It's a specialty tool.
Oh yeah. Much better.
Yep. Yeah, I think, Donald, you officially got an internet stalker.
now what?
What's he
He
doing?
ju- he
now?
just claimed you're his. Just, watch yourself when you're going back and forth from your car at nighttime. If you notice things missing in your house that normally don't move, you might have an issue. What the hell happened
I
to all
wish
my
I still
underwear?
had some of the footage I shot of my Venus flytraps when I had them. I used to have like hundreds of Venus flytraps. I only got like maybe 20 or 30 now.
Actually, that's when I first met you, was right after they all got killed. Remember that? And you said you
Yep.
only had I remember that.
Yep, and I shot when I was practicing learning it like he's doing now. I set up my fly traps and whipped through them, and these things looked like man eaters. They were just
Yeah, I remember that's when I first met you, though, or kind of started talking to you. Because I remember you were telling me you had a couple hundred Venus flytraps. So I was like, holy shit. And you were like, I
No,
guess,
no.
was it winter?
I had thousands.
Was it the winter killed them, right? The cold?
We had an extended freeze and
Yeah,
yeah. Look how that lights up that text.
Jonathan.
yeah, so it's I'm liking that much better. I knew there was a light, I just didn't, again, like I said, I just opened it, Don, and I know I did some research, but then I went on winter break and
You learn best by playing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's way clearer on the text.
Yeah, and it's not nearly as the ISO. I was able to lower the ISO, which always helps because it's not as grainy.
What's up, Dre?
What camera are you shooting on?
That's the Pentax K1 full frame.
Okay, see, Pentax. I never went digital with Pentax.
Huh?
But my first Pentax or my first camera was a Pentax ZX5.
Go to my Facebook page.
I loved that camera.
Yeah, and,
old film camera, and
I was a Spotomatic. I'm a bit older than you, Don.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So I did film. My dad was a photographer for the Navy, and I grew up in the dark room. So
don't you miss the smell of a freshly opened canister of film?
That's
I
what
even
I
miss
did,
the
yeah,
smell
yeah.
of developer, and developer smells like rotten eggs. But
Yeah.
oh, I miss the dark room. I
Let
love
me tell
that.
you guys something. I asked my kids this. Can you guys see that?
Uh-huh.
What is that?
That's an old one.
Yeah.
Huh?
This is a tin.
Old metal one.
An old tin canister.
35.
This is probably 1960s, I would guess. They started
Mhm.
making them plastic. Remember the black plastic with the gray top?
Oh yeah,
So
those were
in
great
the
little
70s.
containers.
Do that again?
Yeah,
Those are great
those
containers.
were actually before my time.
So I asked kids what this is, and it's my stash. It's my stash container.
You can put your pot in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dre wanted to know, Lance, if you bought that camera,
Did I buy the what?
the lens.
The lens.
I did buy the lens.
What the hell is this going on here? I got my YouTube thing on the chat. Just come in and sign into chat for some reason.
Yeah, Dre, I did buy that lens.
That doesn't
I
make
didn't
sense.
have a drone to buy, so I bought a lens.
Yeah, that's one thing that, with digital, you shoot 1,000 images and you'll find one that's good. Back in the day, you had to be so precise over it, and then you didn't know exactly what you had until you got in the dark room, and it was always a magic trick. You got in there and it was just magic.
Stayed in there for 2 weeks, right?
What the hell is going on here? Create a channel to join the chat.
You didn't shoot right away.
That's weird. It just come up on my thing here on the chat line. There's a create a channel to join the chat. Like, what the hell is that about? I do have a channel. But I'm still getting people talking, but that's weird.
Yeah, the more expensive lenses, it's better to rent. But
You can rent lenses?
the Leia is such a inexpensive lens that you can purchase it and it'll pay for itself after a few shoots. But yeah, they are a popular rental.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, popular when you say popular, it's not like every man on the street is going to buy one.
Oh no, yeah. Especially if you're going to use it for just one shoot. Yeah, rent it.
Where do you go
Or if
to
you're
rent
unsure
a
that you're going to be
lens?
using it and you want to just test it out and try it, rent it.
Well, my
What?
question is, where do you go to rent a camera lens at?
Oh, there's camera rental places online. You can rent drones.
I know I've seen the drones online and stuff, but there's not actual stores you go into. You just go online and rent them.
No, you can go online and there's rental houses that rent out any camera equipment you can imagine.
Huh.
You go online. There are some camera shops. We have two big camera shops up here in the Seattle area. Actually, three. We have one in Bellevue, one in Seattle, and one in Tacoma. And you can rent lenses there.
Well, think about how many times they've rented that one lens out, and it's probably paid for itself 10 times.
Well, yeah, you by renting it, you can reach the masses, you know.
Well, you can pay for an item 10 times over by doing that.
But
Yeah.
it also is such a finite piece, you might have to worry about damage every time you rent it out.
Think about rental cars, right? Every time that somebody rents a car for 4 or 5 days a week, and it's $1,200. You know, that car done paid for itself within the first 6 months, at least twice. That's why they don't keep those cars usually after about 30, 40,000 miles, and they sell them off and auction them. Then they get money for that too.
There we go.
I remember when you used to be able to rent game stations from Blockbuster, PlayStations and 64s. Never did it because I always had one, but you could rent them. Yeah, it definitely had a way clearer picture once you turn that light on, though.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
ring light. It seems to really bring the text out. You can actually eat that?
Off. I got some stuff I want to do today. I got to go do a sign down in Port Stanley and stuff. So,
all right,
I'm going to take off. So, anyway, guys, have a good one. I'm going to catch you guys later. So, bye.
Bye, Paul.
We'll see
Are
you,
you gonna-
Paul.
You gonna actually eat that, Murray, or?
Yeah, it's fish, mashed potatoes, carrots, and stuff.
That looks pretty good.
What's your most expensive piece you own, Donald, out of all your camera equipment?
I'm not sure. Let me probably it would be either the Canon C300 or my Canon lens. That's it. That's a pretty good piece of glass right there.
Jesus Christ, look at all those numbers. I wouldn't know what the hell to do with that thing.
Let's see here. How much is the Cine 24 going for now?
So you're gonna teach a little class on that today, Lance?
I am. My video class is always looking for something.
Okay. Well, since glass retains its value more,
Yeah.
that right there is my most expensive piece.
Is that a 24 prime? What is that?
That's a 14.
14 prime.
14 Cine lens.
How much does one of those go for?
Yeah, Cine
Around 35, 37.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when they told me I could take one lens, well, they told me I could take two lenses. And for what I do, a zoom is very practical and very efficient on commercial shoots. And so I took a zoom, but I wish I would have taken a couple of the primes instead of just one.
It's kind of weird that they were like, just take two lenses, whatever, which ones you want.
Joe, this would be a good one for you. A fisheye, a 1017 or something thereabouts. Do you shoot full frame or you shoot crop sensor?
I shoot full frame sensor.
Football, I do 7D crop because I want that little extra reach.
Yes,
and the 7D2 gives me really good ISO. But when I'm doing indoors, anything, I'm using the full frame with the 5D.
You know, get inside.
Yeah, I saw it, Jonathan.
Get on your back as they're doing their little dance. You know, right? You're looking up at it with your fisheye. That's a great shot.
Hey, that would be crazy.
For basketball.
Well, I carry on my hip a 1735 with a wide angle 2.8. And I use that basically if something happens right in front of me, I could just grab it and shoot.
Yeah.
And 2.8 is pretty fast glass too.
Yeah, all my lenses are 2.8, every one of them, except for my 50. My 50 is a 1.4.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've used the 50 in the last 5 years, maybe 4 times.
I use my 50 every wedding I shoot inside, just because of that 1.4.
You know,
Well,
if I
was
had
a
to
smart
carry
person-
one lens, it would be my 50.
I agree, Don.
If I had to carry one lens that was a fixed lens, I do like having my zoom lens because it adds so much flexibility when I'm on a commercial shoot. But if I had to carry one prime lens, it would be a 50.
And I love the compression on the 7200. Oh yeah.
That's my little studio I use for doing team pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
It's real small, you know, and I could do it in the foyer.
Yeah.
And if I was a smart person, all I would do is I don't use a tripod. I sit in the chair and I sit in the chair and shoot my pictures from the chair. The way I'm in the same spot. And I set it on 75, my lens on 75. But if I was a smart person, I'd just bring my 50 out there and put it on a tripod and just use that.
You know what
Now
I
for
don't
portraits,
like about
you want to keep a longer lens though, don't you?
Oh, out there, yeah. I'm a 12300. That's my main go-to on the field, and one on the side like it's a 1735 for the close stuff. And when I'm doing basketball, I'm shooting a 120, a 70 to 120, 2.8.
And Joe, have you ever thought about using a black screen instead of a green screen? The green screen gives me that cast sometimes on their face, and you know, just the reflection off the green onto their shoes, or just harder to correct.
Yeah, I've never used the black. I've thought about it though.
Black seems to be, for me anyway, easier to edit and
the
post.
program I have is from Skirt Photography.
Yeah.
And he has the green screen program. I'll have to go look and see if he has one for black. Because what I like about it is I do my pictures, and then I just go through and I make sure everything's level and everything's the color's right, and then I just drag it over into his little droplet on Photoshop, and then I go get me a cup of coffee or go get a hamburger and come back and it's finished.
Cool.
All I got to do then is extract them out. They're extracted out. All I've got to do is take the junk out of the picture. But it's a lot better than going one by one, I tell you. Oh.
That's the pre-cooked yet.
Well, the only thing I have a problem with green screen, really, is the fact that a lot of these people are wearing these tennis shoes that have green in them.
Yeah.
Or when I shoot junior ROTC, they're ribbons with the green and the ribbons. First time I shot them for the headshots, and they were wearing their ribbons, I looked up and I said, those ribbons don't look right. And I went back and looked at the raw file, And it's because it yanked all the green out. I had to go back and copy the ribbons, put the green back in.
I don't like the shake on my tripod sucks. My cheap tripod I'm using.
How many more days you got left at your job that you quit in protest, Donald?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, how many days you got left at Walmart, or did they come to you begging you to say?
No, they kept on scheduling me though after.
Fucking idiots.
It's like,
I swear.
yeah, I told you this is gonna be my last day, and they put me for 1 day on the next schedule.
That's my main sports setup right there. That's about somewhere in the neighborhood about 20 grand.
So that's your that's like a 7200. Is that a 300 prime? What is the one on the far
No, that's
right?
the one all the way to the right is a 70 to 120, 2.8. The one up top, the long one, was a 120 300 2.8. Then I got the 70 105 2.8. That's F4. It's F4. Then the 50 millimeters sitting up in there. And I got one other one. That, the 17 isn't in this picture. 1735. That's one of my insurance picks. That way I've got a good picture of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got
That's
too
the
many lenses.
that's the other lens that is a specialty lens I only used a couple times, but it was the 150 to 600 Sigma that I would have liked to have kept.
That's got to be about a 6.3 outside only, of course, with the range.
There's a lot of glass just sitting over in a
That's my little
office.
setup in the back.
Yeah.
That's my little setup in the back with all the cameras in it, with the dry box, all the drones and everything sitting back there, the straps on the wall. And that's probably about 32 grand right there.
Yeah. There's a lot of glass sitting over in an office building that I would like to have.
What you printing, Joe?
I'm actually doing a lion head, little you can actually put on a wall. It's probably about, it's not that big. You can sit on your desk or put it on a wall like for Gitchy. I'm making it for Gitchy. See how it comes out. But I printed this one last night. That's a little lion pendant. And I did it in silver, and that's when it all jammed up on me. So I put the blue in to make it work. And what's the problem is the back of it, is the way they get the back. It's not a solid back. So it's kind of mushy back there. And I'm trying to figure out how to put that, make it a complete solid. I was looking in the codes to try to fix that and make that completely solid. But I did it in silver last night, and that's when that one little piece broke off in my printer. I'm seeing how this lion head does.
I don't know. Is this thing worth anything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
Who's got it?
I don't know. Some dude gave it to me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's pissing us off.
Yeah.
We're trying to.
I was thinking about tossing it. I'm not going to use it.
Okay, toss it.
I gave you the address to toss it to.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I got Matt one day though, because Matt wanted the all the little mixing boards for DaVinci.
Mhm.
But if you want the entire setup, it's like $20,000 or some shit. So I got a picture.
Oh, Brown.
I downloaded all these pictures of this guy that had them all just laid out on his bed. And I told Matt, I said, yeah, I was at some garage sale and this dude sold me all this shit for like $20. I was like, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Oh, he was so pissed.
Yeah, put that one in the safe. That's beautiful. That looks like pretty good condition too.
Yeah, it is. It's in real good condition. You know, it's got everything on the side. You know, these are always fun. And the kids are like, you mean you look through that little piece right there to see what you're going to take? And I said, yeah. You look through that, you look down, and there you are. In fact, I see you clear as day there, Joe. You know, and the kids were like, really? I said, yeah. And then you could see that some of the twin lens reflexes. That's what I started shooting on.
Yep, that's what my dad had.
And that was my dad's camera.
They're trying to figure out how to hook it up to Bluetooth.
So who was saying that? Was that in the chat? Someone was saying a green screen bodysuit. Who was that? That was Frank?
Frank Rizzo or Jody said get you a green suit.
You know, you can, and then you can make yourself disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and it's a whole bodysuit. The kids love wearing this and then doing some fun stuff with the green screen.
Yeah, that's weird. If I put one on, my wife would disappear.
Yeah, it's pretty weird watching when they're doing the movie scenes and got a bunch of guys running around in
cannot
green suits.
stand those videos that pop up on YouTube to clickbait where they show something that was done in one particular way, but they show people in green screen outfits like they
doing the behind the scenes.
It's like that's not how they would do that. Oh my god! And it's just it's to get you to rage click.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like that one channel that's been AI and Joe Rogan's voice over all their conspiracy videos. Oh, it's been pissing people off because he's taking Joe Rogan's voice and he keeps putting it over like all these conspiracy shorts that he's doing about different conspiracy theories. But Joe Rogan never talked about any of that shit. He just took his voice and has been using his voice. I don't know, man. They got to figure out something with this copyright shit when it comes to AI because this is going to get into a really gray
Nobody's
area.
going to know exactly what anything is. Nobody's going to know it's real.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, are you going to be able to sue somebody for AI in your voice? Are you going to be able to do this? Like, they got to figure all this shit out and get some rules in place because there's going to be a lot of like, you know, lawsuits that are going to go on where they're going to be tied in court for years trying to figure out whether one side's right or the other side's wrong. Or I just see it being a big nightmare in about 2 years' time.
And make sure y'all all celebrate today is National Drinking Straw Day.
They're just making this shit up now.
It's on television. It's real. You know?
Hey, Justin, every holiday is made up.
Oh, I know that. They're just finding stupid shit to make up for like regular days when it's not a major holiday. It's National Lid on Your Cup Day. Everybody get a lid. I think Jody's a little behind in the chat there, or in the live stream. For anybody who doesn't know, Frank Rizzo's drone shots.
Yeah. Also known as Jody.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell his name is.
Why did Jody change his name to Frank Rizzo?
Well, no, he has multiple accounts.
Well, you know, Frank Rizzo was a TV character, wasn't it, or a movie, or
it was a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a movie.
No, I don't need to because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, when he's on his phone, he's under Frank Rizzo. When he's on his computer, he's under Drone Shots.
Oh my gosh.
I have about 4 hours worth of putting pictures together today for 2 teams. And I don't even want to start it. So,
Well, you've been drained so much screwing around with that 3D printer. It's like, wow.
no, the problem is I got all these holidays, so all this time off. So it's like you put the stuff in the
No.
boxes, just sit them
Frank
over there.
Rizzo is a real
and
person.
You don't want to open it.
Frank Rizzo is?
Frank Rizzo was a real person.
Might be
He's a
Jody in
politician.
the. So he explains why he has multiple accounts. Maybe we're talking to the real Frank Rizzo. Lower our taxes, you prick. Yes, Frank is drone shots, Jonathan. I said when he's on his phone, he uses the Frank Rizzo account.
Oh, Frank Rizzo's not a good person to.
That's on his government BlackBerry. That's his account.
So last night, Tino was laying over here, knocked out, snoring, right? And I kind of reached down and touched him right around his back leg, and this joker turned around and had my finger in his teeth, like that, and he's never done that. And he just had my finger, stopped, looked up at me, licked my hand, and laid back down. Like, oops.
What were you saying, Donald? You said Frank something. A second ago you were talking. You said Frank's not a.
Oh, he's not. He's not a good guy.
Frank, if you're anything like the Clintons, I didn't say it. He did.
Oh, he's not alive anymore.
So he claims.
It's fun.
Sorry, I'm being distracted. This guy that I'm doing some work for.
Being difficult?
He doesn't know what different people are for. He's got a web developer from India.
Oh, fun.
And he's got a website that's crashing. And I was like, scroll, it's only crashing on iPhones. So I get my iPhone out yesterday and I scrolled and it crashed on me. I said, maybe it's this thing. We're just trying to figure out what it is that's causing the website to crash. And that's really the web developer's job.
What, can you not get a hold of the guy or what?
No. So now he's like, Saba, Dawn, you guys feel free to Skype with one another and discuss and try to conclude the issue. It's like, I don't know anything about it.
And you're not even involved with the website, are you?
Nope.
So why the fuck what does he want you to do? Tell him throw you some extra money and you'll try to figure it out. You can just get on the Zoom.
I don't have back-end access to the website.
Or you can just get on and just say you were on a call with the guy.
Oh yeah. Well, if I'm talking to him, yeah, he's getting billed $20 an hour.
At $20 an hour, you'll talk to him for a long time. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Shut up.
And I don't know when he thinks that this guy in India and I will have the same hours that we can Skype together.
Yeah, aren't they like 12 hours ahead of us or some shit? Like
yeah, it's like 9:30. It's like 9:30 at night there.
Right.
Right now. So
that's exactly why they do their calls, their scam centers late at night. So they can talk to people in the US during the daytime. I use Frank Rizzo to mess with hackers.
the Jerky Boys movie, yeah, okay.
He was in the Jerky Boys movie. I don't know if I know that movie.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Frank Rizzo, they would use on their tapes, they would use him or use that name.
So it makes you wonder why Jody picked that name.
He probably picked
Is-
it because of Jerky Boys.
Okay, is there some kind of meaning behind the name in the movie?
Jerky Boys was not just a movie. It was a, I don't know, is he talking about, oh, he's talking about the movie. Okay. It was a series of tapes back in the 90s. It was the original version of Crank Yankers. People would pass the tapes around and then they'd call up like, yeah, I held a firecracker in my hand and it blew up and now it's all it's all nummy and stuff. And they'd be trying to talk them through emergency, trying to, okay, well, can you tell, is there any bleeding? I don't know. I can't even see my fingers.
Yeah, I used to know so many phone codes too that would do weird shit. My best friend Willie's dad worked for the phone company.
And Frank
And we
Rizzo
had-
was their rude Italian.
We had a whole list of phone codes that used to do weird shit. We could make the house phone call the house back.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously when they had the blocking, you could do the *69.
Yes, go ahead. Yep, I'll close it now. I got we got Garver.
And call waiting was a game changer.
Oh, good. But why would we need another catcher?
You see, when in the beginning of the football season, I offer these parents a package for $250, and the ones that missed pay like they're paying today. I got one that's buying 40 pictures from me. It's going to cost her $300. And I got another one buying 40 pictures from me. It's going to cost her $300. She could have got all those pictures for $250.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Make
good way
more
to start
money.
the year up.
Make more money off of their stupidity, I guess.
Well, all that does is they pay the $300 now, and then next year they got 3 more years here. Next year they give me the $250. That's how I lock them in. When the freshman parents come out and they say, "Well, actually, the freshman parents are $150." I get because it's a different. They don't play as many games. So nice.
Oh, I
And,
muted you, Lance. I wasn't sure if there was students in there or not.
So,
I heard you
so
talking to
it's,
somebody.
So I'm nice, and they look and say, "Yeah, we wish we would have bought the package for $150." But I got a cutoff date, and I don't go past that cutoff date. If you tell me 2 weeks later, "Hey, yeah, you're getting a lot of pictures. Can I get them?" Nope, ain't happening.
I mean, you got rules that are there for a reason. And
I'll give you a
That's
couple
what
of
it is.
days leeway, and I'll give you a warning. This is it. After this date, you can't buy it. But I'll look at the quarterback, and if the quarterback's doing good in the first game, I'll go ahead and put him in a folder anyway. Because I've done that before. Found a couple of key
My
players
God,
that looked
Max.
like they were going to be good, and then the parents come back and say, "Well, can I get the package?" And I'm already saving. I say, "Yeah, I got him." But I'm not going to go back through 10 games and find you a kid with 1,000 pictures. Talk about $200 an hour. A lot more than that. Max is in the house.
hey, he's putting dirty dad jokes in the chat.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it.
Huh? Mute yourself and make your phone call.
Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you later.
Later, y'all.
All right,
Bye
later.
for now.
Adios.